Hey, welcome to Adventures with Peps. Today we are painting in Necron Techomancer. As you can see, I've kept him in two separate parts to make this easier for me to paint. These guys are, I guess they're the tech marines of the Necron army. I'm sorry, my Necron knowledge is still very low. But it seems like during the game they can help units or themselves recover wounds, and they can heal up to D3 at a time. So let's dive on in. We're starting with the base paint lead belcher, if I can get it to zoom in on it. I'm going to dry brush all over the model, as I do with nearly all my Necrons and Executioner Space Marines. It's a pretty straightforward process. I just drag the brush down. Make sure that any areas that I really want detailed or to pop, I just make sure I hit them a lot harder than the rest. Yeah, I just cover the whole lot like this, so we'll come back in a bit. Here I'm working on the back piece, but I just want to take a minute to appreciate the little spider that the technomancer is riding into battle. That is just a cool little bit of the model. I just love the way it looks. I think when the spiders arrive in the magazine, because this is from the Imperium magazine, I am going to have so much fun painting the spiders. Scarabs were pretty fun, if a little annoying because they're so small. But yeah, the spiders just look cool. Okay, enough of my waffle. We'll be right back. Right, so we got the backpack, the spider, and obviously the main part of the technomancer now painted silver. I wanted to make sure that the red and the green weapons pop on this model. He is a character after all, so I just want to make sure certain areas have the ability to pop more than others. The weapon being an important one because it's going to be one of the main green factors. Initially I was trying to be all nice and careful and make sure I didn't go into the gaps between the blades, but then I remembered I was going to use speed paints, which they're going to naturally seek out those areas to make darker anyway, so I didn't have to worry too much. I then go over the handle. I believe this is a Staff of Light, correct me if I'm wrong. But I then go over that section with some white as well. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to paint it black or brown. I do know I didn't want it to be metallic-y. I'm just going to hit that up with some white before we move on to the next part. So with the weapon done, we can start moving on to some of the fiddlier parts. So there's the gem on his belt, which is pretty small. I should have maybe swapped my brush. We also hit up his eye. These are both going to be green on the final model. In the reference photo I was looking at, the painter had done a white stripe on the skull. I quite liked it, so I decided I was going to steal the idea and do that as well. And then to make my life super hard, I decided to try and get white into the ribcage. Definitely flooded over, but I knew it wasn't going to be a huge problem because worst case scenario, I could just clean up the ribcage. It really wasn't an issue. But this is where my one brush to rule them all scenario is playing against me. I have the brushes, I have a nice army painter set. I don't have to stick to one brush, but I do. I can't help myself. And then on his backpack, we do the spider's eye, we do the gem inside the spider's belly, and we also do the gem on the backpack. With that all dry, we now move on to the snakebite leather. I finally decided to do the Staff of brown colour. I did contemplate using the army speed painter dark wood, but I just thought snakebite leather would be a lighter brown, would just maybe pop a little bit. And with that drying, I decided to grab the Nazdrag yellow, which I love to apply over a silver base coat to do my bronze gold effects on my models. Find it's a lot nicer than using metallics. It goes over the silver really well. So we're going to start with the cloak. It's just load up the brush with paint and swoop down. Very simple, very easy. Gives me a wonderful effect at the end, which hopefully I'll show off in a moment. And through the magic of editing, pretty much got all the gold done on the Cloak and on the Technomancer himself. We'll just let them dry for a little bit. Next up is the green, and we are using the contrast paint Orc Flesh. I'm going to use this on all the white areas that are left to represent the gems and the eyes and the weird eldritch weapons of the Necrons. I'm going to take this moment to just say, remember to hit like, hit subscribe. Every little helps. We're definitely starting to see some growth on the channel, which is wonderful. I really want to hit that 500 to unlock the community tab. So as you can see right now, my hands are wonderfully in focus, so we are going to skip forward a little bit. And now we move on to the biggest part of the model, the red. So I'm using Flesh Tear Red. In the example I found online that I really like, the model is largely red. He really pops. He's got the gold accents from his cloak and his fancy head collar. But yeah, everything else was pretty much red and I loved it, so I am just full on copying this. Start off with painting the backpack and the shield area, and then we'll move on to the Technomancer himself. And just like that, we pretty much have a ready to go Necron Techomancer. Because he's a character, I decide to go a stage further than this and give it some highlights using some blood red. But ultimately, he's done. It was quick, it was simple. He really pops because he's a lot of red compared to the silver of my other Necrons. Had a lot of fun painting this model. I think I want more. Definitely want more of that spider. And as you can see, I got my wonderful Amazon Basics rotating platform, so you can take a look at him in a moment. And there we go. 100% contrast paints apart from the lead belcher metallics. Took around an hour start to finish. I am personally going to add some highlights on, make the red pop a little bit more, maybe add some dark shade. But ultimately, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll give me a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers for watching.